a big round of applause for Lela Merrell.
Thank you. I'm a little short, so I decided I'd do something with this. I have an announcement to make, and it overwhelms me, but I published my first book. The name of it is River, James, and Saturday. And James, this is not about you. River James is my hero, and Saturday is my heroine. And it is a book that starts out in the late 1800s through the 1940s. And it's a mystery, romance, murder. It's got the whole ball of wax. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that I would ever write a book. I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. My family gets really bored with me, and they give me the chop, which means shut up. But anyway, I am very grateful and thankful for several people who have been right with me all along the way. And I would like to say a special thank you to James because of Spofest. It has meant a lot to me, and I have learned so much from my fellow writers because all of you write so differently, and I never realized that until I started writing myself. Your voice is very important, and it's something that you need to do. If you like to write, you need to put it down on paper. I also want to thank my good friend Debbie Nolan. She has been very instrumental in helping me and being my friend. She and I knew each other, but we were just acquaintance before this. But I now consider her a dear friend of mine because she put up with a lot of things from me, and she was very, very helpful. Also, I would like to mention Aaron Hoffman Beaver, who was an instructor here, an English instructor, about 6 or 7 years ago, and she encouraged me to write. I was in a class that was all young people. I was the oldest person in the class. And I almost quit because their voices were so different from mine. And she encouraged me to hang in there, so I did. Then I would also like to thank my good friends at the Senior Citizens Creative Writing Group. Wonderful people. If you ever have a chance, come by the Senior Citizen Center on Monday afternoons from 1 to 3. We have probably the best group of writers in this area. We've had 5 or 6 books that have been published through those people, and they've encouraged me. I would like to read just one short, if I can find it now. Here we go. I want to read just one short, very short chapter, and you won't understand all of it, I'm sure, but it kind of gives you an idea of what I was trying to do. I wanted it to be an easy read. I wanted it to be something that would grab your attention and hold it through the whole book. And this was just published, and it's self-published, by the way. It was just published about 2 weeks ago. When I held it in my hand, I was overwhelmed, just absolutely overwhelmed, because I never, ever thought that I would do this. So here we go. The name of this chapter is Chicklet Returns Home. Early one morning in the fall, after the disappearance of the Benton County girls, a horse came wandering into Jacob's barn. She whinnied. The familiar call made Jacob bound out of a stall he was mucking, and there, Standing quietly was the mare, Chicklet. A little lean, she seemed to be in good health as his eyes roamed over the beginning of a rough winter coat. With an exclamation of welcome and with his heart thumping in his chest, he walked up to the animal and put his arms around her sleek neck. "Are you looking for Rain Dancer?" After feeding, he decided to curry her. He started with soothing strokes to her mane. As he brushed, he noticed something small and brown braided into the hair just behind her right ear. It was a small leather pouch with a drawstring. Fumbling in his pocket, he used his pocket knife to cut it loose. Opening the neck, he heard the crumpled sound of paper. Withdrawing the small note, he read, "Safe. Trust me. Be careful." There was no signature. Hurriedly, he finished grooming and picking out Chicklet's hooves. Then Jacob saddled his own horse, put a loose rope on the little mare, and followed the well-worn trail to the Kreisel home. Excitedly, he hailed the occupants of the cabin, and when Beauty's folks came out, they couldn't believe their eyes. Chicklet. With tears and questions, they pulled Jacob inside for a cup of coffee. With a smile, he slid onto a kitchen chair, pulled the pouch out of his pocket, and showed them the note. With tears in her eyes, Beauty's mother said, "That's my daughter Betty's writing." The two parents looked at each other in shocked silence for a moment, then realized the impact of what they had found. Because of the warning to be careful, they decided that this information must remain secret until further information was available. Without a doubt, Beauty was safe and well. 6 months later, Beauty's mother went to their old mailbox and found a picture postcard with a beautiful image of the Eiffel Tower. On the back was the familiar writing. The message read, "Wish you were here." Again, there was no signature. At first, the newspapers carried the story statewide about the missing girls, but after 6 months, people no longer looked for them. At their age, they probably had run off, moved to the big city, or perhaps found boyfriends who had talked them into leaving. Who knew? Life in Missouri slowly settled back to a somewhat normal pace. The red cardinals seemed plentiful that year. Jacob Yount saw the flash of red, and his heart hurt with worry. He had to believe in his daughter. That winter, when the snow was deep and blowing with an icy wind through the oak trees in the Ozark Valley, a letter was waiting in Jacob Yount's mailbox. Its smudged postmark was from somewhere in Oklahoma. A bright red cardinal feather was all the envelope contained.